it is difficult for me to say whether or not you can make a profit by using Australian suppliers. So that is something that you would need to do your research on and figure out for yourself by getting some quotes and seeing what it comes in at. But I'll give you some reasons why it's a good idea, at least, to use an Australian supplier for your products, because I really think it's a great idea to do that. Here's why I think it's a good idea. First up, it's hassle-free. You are talking to somebody in Australia, so you're sourcing domestically, so you haven't got a language barrier, and you already understand how Australians operate and how Australians do business. So there's that, and that I think should not be discounted. There's a different level of customer service in Australia than there is in China, for instance. So there's that. Also, it's much, much faster for you to source domestically. You will not have to wait ages to get your samples. You won't have to pay tons of money to get your samples. So there's that. Plus, when you do order your product, you won't have to wait for them to come over by sea, 6 weeks. You won't have to wait for that. Plus, you won't have all the hassle of them going through customs, where customs will potentially stop them going through, as I learned this week, because they don't think you're paying enough for your supplies or some bullshit like that. So there's that too. It's a lot less hassle and a lot faster to use an Australian supplier. Now, sure, you will pay more, but by the time you factor in the shipping costs, the time factor, the hassle factor, it ain't that much more. I don't think it's really that much more. I personally, given the choice, would prefer to go with an Australian supplier rather than a Chinese one. And you've also got as well, there's no way in hell your Australian supplier will rip off your product and start selling it. That is just not going to happen at all. They could not give a shit about selling your product on Amazon, but it's different, as we know, in China. So there's that too, another little factor to take into consideration. And all of those things add up for me. And so, yeah, do your research, but that's, I think, very, very good reasons to use an Australian supplier rather than a Chinese supplier, given all things being equal, It is also, as well, if you find yourself in the lovely situation whereby you've made a ton of sales and you're running out of stock, it is much, much faster to get your stock back in from your Australian supplier than it is from your Chinese supplier. Much faster. You can be out of stock for 2 months with a Chinese supplier, but with an Aussie supplier, you can have your stock there the next day. So things like that, when you add them all up, I think it makes a lot of sense to go with an Aussie than anything else. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much, much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales I've used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on, a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.